So now we are joined by Joe, who is also going to be joining us on discussing the Marvel TV crossovers and potential renewals that are happening. So since everything's more or less wrapped up, we're kind of going to cover everything that's coming down. So we know that this August we're getting the Defenders, and I really cannot wait for this.
Yeah, that's hype, man. I mean, I didn't even think that a show like Cloak and Dagger would get renewed this early, and Defenders is gonna come. Like, there's just so much Marvel TV to get hyped about, honestly.
Well, it's not only that, they're also starting production on the next season of Daredevil rather soon. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones next seasons are already shooting. Iron Fist seems like it's going to start production at the end of the year, when we're going to get The Punisher. So, like, Marvel TV on Netflix is just going to be killing it. But then also we have Inhumans coming. We got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Runaways got picked up to full series, and they start shooting in a couple of weeks. Cloak and Dagger might have been renewed from what we know, because there's no way they spent 2.5 months shooting a pilot. Come on.
Yeah, I said that on Twitter, and someone was like, "You sure they're just filming the series?" And it's like, no, they said they're doing like 100-day shoot. And it's been over 100 days.
Yeah, it's 7 days per episode on TV, usually. Sometimes it's usually less than that, like 5, because they have to give them a day off.
And it's, what, 10 episodes long? It's only a mini, so... It's a short.
See, this is like something we've talked about before, about that having all these shows is going to give you that year-round kind of gap.
That means there's no drought in watching TV.
Yeah, there's gonna be no gap, and that because usually when you're watching, like when S.H.I.E.L.D. first came out, people were like, "Oh man, now I gotta wait till March or whatever." But then you had Agent Carter around, like, I don't remember, season 2 or 3, and then now with Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, and all these Netflix shows, there really is no gap. So it is that year-round entertainment. So you're always gonna have something to watch, and that's people kind of cracking the code. I don't think that's more of, oh, there's too much, like it's gonna ruin people's experience. I think that's cracking the code of, now people have something to watch year round, and they won't get bored, they won't go watch something else.
I mean, if a show causes someone to actually binge watch the whole season and want more, then you're obviously doing something right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And
well, Cloak and Dagger is an interesting one, because if it has been secretly renewed, like a couple of places have been saying, is it kind of like hubris that they've done it this early? Because it's still like 7 months out from even seeing it.
I think at this point, if they're just that, I mean, is it hubris? There's shows that have done it. They're just that confident.
Yeah, but like it's 7 months out. We've seen 2 minutes of the pilot.
Is it because it's not unknown, but not a property that people know, such as Daredevil and stuff like that? Do you think that's why you're calling it hubris in a way?
Well, no, because it's like, even if Daredevil was renewed when they just finished filming season 1, I would have said the same thing. Are they that confident, or are they that overconfident? Which way is it?
I like to think they're just regular confident.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, is it a bit too much that you're at least 8 to 9 months away from the first season having been fully shown?
I know you're saying this, but inside you're probably like, "Oh yes."
Oh yeah, I'm crying. I'm crying.
I know.
Yeah.
You make a good point though. It's hard to tell at the moment because we've only seen trailers, but I would hope that they're just regular confident, or else.
I just find it hilarious that people have been like, "Oh, this looks shit," and it's like, "Well, it's got a second season. It can't be that bad."
Yeah. I mean, it is Marvel. I think they're very confident with what they currently have. If they weren't, I don't think they would do it, because they produced the pilot to Most Wanted, and they said, not good enough, shelve it. So clearly there's something here that's different that we don't know yet. And I mean, Marvel has all the confidence in the world, and rightfully so. They've only had one failure with Iron Fist, and even that is the most binge-watched show they've ever had on Netflix. So what does that tell you? Like, it's a failure, sure.
That just confuses me.
I don't know.
Well, it's because people wanted to see what was wrong with it, and of course, you watch what was wrong with it. People. Everyone went, "Well, it's not that bad."
Yeah,
that's true. Because when I first read that it was the most binge show, I was like, that just confuses me. There's so better shows, and it's kind of like that Transformers effect. I'm not saying Iron Fist is as bad as Transformers or something along those lines, but it's just there are so many other shows. I'm like, dude, why are you watching it? You should be watching these other shows. But I get it. I get it. Like they want to know how bad it is.
But I'm honestly surprised that Runaways didn't get picked up for a second season. Because that was supposed to be the same as Cloak and Dagger, but the writers' strike nearly killed it.
Well, to be fair, it is on Hulu, and Hulu isn't kind of partly owned by.
But before it was supposed to just be a full season, but because of the potential writers' strike, they could only do the pilot and then film the pilot. They couldn't get the rest of it out. So it's kind of like, is there going to be?
I'm gonna assume they're gonna renew it. They're just gonna wait it out, and I'm just kind of assuming that they're going to announce Runaways and Inhumans both get picked up for second season around the same time. So probably by the time Inhumans is wrapped up production and, like in December after it's done airing.
It's wrapped up.
After it's done airing, I meant. I assume they come out and go, the success of this show and Runaways doing so good on Hulu, we're going to renew both. Like, get interested, get hyped.
So can we talk about how for 3 weeks the leaked, a longer leaked trailer of Inhumans has been sitting on Vimeo and no one noticed it until this week? It's what the fuck?
No one goes on Vimeo.
I had that shit uploaded to the CBC Facebook page for 2 weeks and I just took it down. I was like, I feel like taking this down just in case Marvel gets pissed. So, no one talked about it. Now everybody's all like, oh, Inhuman hype. I'm like, what? What the hell you guys been?
Yeah, it's kind of like we saw this 3 weeks ago. What's going on?
No one uses Vimeo.
No.
So that's my thing.
Yeah, but that guy on Twitter, that Twitter account that was leaking everything, it's not even the one they were leaking. It's a completely a longer with audio. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, how has this been sitting here?
I getcha.
It's weird. So Marvel's TV future looking bright. I can't say anything else, but I'm excited. I mean, it's literally getting to the point where there's so many shows. I'm actually starting to pick and choose what I can watch, because I'm interested in it so much.
Well, they got you by the short and curlies, really, didn't they? Because you've got all the TV series, and you've got all the movies, and you've got another TV series, and you've got another 2 movies. Well, it's just like, I need to sleep.
Okay, so let's talk about the photo shoot that happened that kind of made people freak out. The photo shoot that happens to unite the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or 2 of them at least, and Jeff Loeb, of course the man in charge of everything TV, with the Defenders. Now, this automatically started, is there going to be a crossover? And logistically, if a crossover is to happen in the MCU with any of these characters, it would be the TV division before the TVs and movies. So,
So I think those 2 in Defenders would make sense. But at the same time, is it just a case of look at all my little babies? This is what I made.
Yeah, I think I feel it's that. It's a nice little photo shoot for him. But if it is a crossover, that's cool, because it's, what is it? Will Sky and I don't remember.
It's Daisy and Coulson.
Okay, I thought it was Coulson, but I couldn't. I thought I was gonna get it wrong. But that'd be nice if it actually does crossover. I've been one that's been saying, yeah, why not crossover? They are in the same universe. Why not?
So the way it's looking, because I did the quick kick, just to write it down in my notes and stuff, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back in its typical 3rd week in January, because that's when it's going to come out, because they never air the first 2 weeks on ABC typically because of, their logistics and stuff. So the 100th episode is landing the week of Infinity War, because they said they're not taking any more breaks. Do you think that they could do the whole, let's celebrate, 2-hour movie and maybe involve some of the Defenders in there, teaming up on the streets of New York, kind of, the defensive line, you could say, the TV budget Avengers all uniting?
It's hard to tell.
I mean, if you listen to Chris Evans, he says it wraps everything up. So is that everything as in the literal sense, or is that just for the movie?
It's...
Yeah. I know. I think it's a bit of an undertaking to do it, but
see, it's hard to tell at the moment. To be honest, I don't know. I don't. It could happen. It couldn't happen.
I legit.
If they can get a legit reason for it, do it. If it's just contrived,
that's what I'm saying. And I just look at it from the standpoint of Marvel. Literally a decade ago, when they announced Iron Man at San Diego Comic-Con, I remember running to my friend's house to show him the trailer, and him and his roommates all laughed at me saying, Iron Man, that shit is gonna bomb. And then same thing when they announced the TV series. There's no better way to celebrate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and a 100th episode tie-in to Infinity War. And make no mistake, if Earth is under attack by invading aliens, they have to legitimately deal with that issue, right? So,
well, that's why they're in space. Like that has to be either an Alpha Flight situation or a sword. It's got to be one of the two. They're the only two space like floating things around Earth in Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So why else? I'd love it if it's kind of like, well, why else are they up there? Like, let's just have them in the movie, and we did it this way. But I don't know.
Yep, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. I hope that they can work out a TV crossover. Like, I would just love it if Coulson's like, look, guys, Agent Hill contacted us. Avengers are in space. It just so happens that there's some sort of infiltration force that we have to fight. Who else we got if everybody's in space? Well, fuck it. We got Ghost Rider and the Defenders. Who? And then just give us that crossover. Like, I think it could work. It's just a matter of nailing that down. So it's... I'm real excited. Even if they don't do it, I won't be pissed. But, I have hopes.
It'll be a nice little wink to everything if they can actually pull it off. And it's like, it's taken us 10 years. People said, how are you going to do Thor? Like, well, fuck you. We just like this.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes when the time comes.